Well, the warm, pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Cox Convention Center for the Oklahoman's All-City Prep Sports Awards. I'm Dave Morris, joined by the Oklahoman's Jacob Unruh. Jacob, thank you for your time tonight.
Oh, well, thanks for having me here.
It's an exciting evening celebrating the best of high school athletes from the 2016-2017 season. As I mentioned, we're at the Cox Convention Center, and Jacob, the place is looking great.
Oh, it looks amazing in here. They've got it all set up. We're ready to go. I think the door's about to open, right?
Tables and tables are behind us. Over to our left on the bumper shot there, you see the red carpet, the step and repeat for the photos, for the selfies, for the Snapchat. All the social media elements are in place as the athletes, their parents, coaches, celebrities, all joining us tonight. And speaking of celebrities, the big guest of honor tonight, former NFL great Peyton Manning, who will be on stage talking with our Barry Trammell for about 30 minutes of Q&A. Barry will join us here on the set as we go live from 5 to 6 pregame, if you will, before the event from 6 to 9 tonight. And again, Barry talking to Peyton, and we'll have to ask Barry a few questions about what he has planned to ask Peyton. And by the way, if you were interviewing Peyton Manning as a sports reporter, what might you want to know?
Oh, I think maybe some of his memories, he had such a great career going out on top like he did, things like that. I've also got to have fun with the fact that, I cover the Dodgers a little bit too. Omaha's in town. I'd want to see if I can get him to say Omaha.
Good point. You were speaking in the Oklahoman's video studio earlier today with Alex Friedman, the voice of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. That's kind of an example of how the Oklahoman covers sports. Just because the prep season is over, that doesn't mean your job's done.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's always going. I mean, we got things going on. Super 30 we'll have coming up this summer. Getting ready for the next season. Basically, all-state weeks. Still writing about some of these guys and girls that will be here tonight.
Tonight's the best of the best. The boys and the girls, the coaches, the teams, the scholar athletes, and the Courage Award, among those being handed out tonight in a variety of sports. But let's back up. As you cover high school athletics, school us, educate us on how you guys do that. Let's say, when does the season start in your mind for a high school coverage of sports?
I think you could say July, maybe.
Okay.
You really get through all this. You get through the all-state, all-city spring teams, maybe catch a breather for a little bit, and then you get into July.
Okay, so what happens in July?
We start our Super 30 series in July, and we do that's our top 30 football recruits.
Okay.
So that gets us going to football. We start our district previews for each football district in the state. We talk with coaches. We got the All-State Clinic where we meet with coaches as we go through that. We start getting into practice in August then, and it just kicks off from there. Softball opens up, volleyball, cross country, they all get going in August. Football will get going at the end of August into September, and then we're off and running.
How do you guys keep track of all this? I mean, just the variety of sports you mentioned there means a variety of coaches, a variety of players, a variety of storylines.
It could be a handful, but if you ask my wife, it's a lot. But it's just a matter of getting to know people.
Sure.
And
building relationships,
yeah, and working with those people a lot. I can text a coach here and there, an athlete here and there, just even check on them and just see how things are going. You build those kind of relationships. We get information sheets. Darla Smith, our editor, sends out information sheets to every school on football. We send out stuff for softball. We do all that. We have our photo day in August for the locals, for all these schools that are involved tonight. We invite them to bring athletes for photos, so we get to meet them, do videos with them, get photos of them, get information from questionnaires. It's a whole lot of just information gathering that we try to put to use.
But pays off throughout the year, and it's an example of the amount of work that goes into covering high school athletics.
Yeah, it's not easy. People sometimes think
you
that
just
could
go
be
to
easy.
the game. It's fun, right?
Yeah. No. There's way more to it. You got stories to tell, notes to do, people to talk to. Sometimes they're still not happy with you. So you still have to talk to them. It's just like a Thunder. Russell Westbrook being angry at somebody. You still have to deal with them. It's just not on that same level of notoriety. Sometimes I guess.
Sure.
But
just don't get it twisted. To put it in Russell's words. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we got all that. It's constant. It never stops. But it's really a lot of fun.
We're at the Cox Convention Center for the Oklahoman's All-City Prep Sports Awards, and as you can see over here on the red carpet, the doors have opened and people are starting to come in. Tables are behind us. We heard the how shall I call this, the pep rally back of house as the servers are getting ready to have a good game, if you will. You mentioned storylines earlier. Coming into, let's say, football season from this past year, what was one of the dominant storylines? Maybe it was, would the West finally win Class 6A?
Yeah, and it got to the point where you start wondering that as the season went on, as good as Norman North was.
Right.
They were extremely talented. They were putting up incredible offensive numbers. Their defense wasn't allowing a lot of points. They even beat Union in the regular season, and then you start thinking, could this be the year? Of course, Tulsa Union ended up winning it all. Norman North, got beat in the championship game, but it was a banner year for the West.
Looking ahead to this next year, who's going to be favored?
I think you got to go with Union again. They bring back a lot of talent. Multiple players are committed to OU. They're just incredibly talented. I know that OU, Broken Arrow will be good again. I think Jinx is obviously good. Over here, you got to toss up. Norman North has graduated a lot, but they still got some talent. Santa Fe was good. Mustang was really, a surprise late last season. So, but it all comes back down to Union and Jinx.
All right. Speaking of storylines and stories, you write. How many stories would you say are in print every week? 5 to 7, pretty much every day.
High school wise, we try to have, during football season, especially, we try to have a story and a notebook every day. Every day, and we do a Friday Night Lights each week, big stories that we like to do and tell. That's the thing. I enjoy telling the stories, and so that's the fun part of it. You get to tell those stories.
Well, let's dive into that. What was one of the favorite stories that you had the chance to cover and write this past year?
I think for me it was the story I wrote about Anna Lanusa and her house that burned down at the end of the year.
Remarkable basketball
birthday.
Player.
Yes, incredible. She signed with OU. She's already on campus in Norman from Choctaw. Just writing that story about how she overcame that and used it as motivation. And I wrote it about a month before she actually won the state title, helped Choctaw win the state title. And so that was a lot of fun to tell and get to know her family.
How do you approach a story like that? Because that's tough. Somebody going through loss.
Mm-hmm. It is tough. What helped me was that I've known Anna since she was a freshman basketball player.
Getting back to the relationships.
Yeah. And so I've gotten to know her family a little bit and stuff here and there, and so they were really open to the idea. I think mainly because they trusted me and things like that. So it was really, that helped a lot. And but then I've other stories I've written. You have, tragically an athlete may die, somehow, and you write that, and you got to approach it kind of with caution. Just say, listen, I'm not here to do anything wrong, but I would, if you want to talk, then great. If not, I understand.
That's your role. Hey, people are interested in this. Mm-hmm. Your role is to relay that information or help tell a story. Yeah,
exactly. And that's how I approach it usually, just very cautiously, but very understanding of what they're going through.
What got you into sports?
Since as long as I can remember, it was I lived with my grandparents growing up, starting at 3. For about 9 years, and my grandma loved baseball. So did my grandpa. And
who was her team?
The Rangers.
Okay.
And so, so naturally, I'm a Rangers fan for life. And but I remember just watching baseball with her from 3 on, as much as I could. Cubs games, Braves games, whatever was on TV, we'd watch. But it was always came back to the Rangers. For her, it was Nolan Ryan.
I was about to say, I got to see Nolan pitch in Kansas City once. It's just that was a special time.
Yeah.
But that's how sports can be. When you connect, you remember, I saw that athlete in that stadium playing against that team.
And then I used to, they get the Tulsa World because we grew up around Tulsa, and I'd cut out articles and put them in notebooks and things like that, and just got really into that aspect of it, and read Sports Illustrated for kids and then Sports Illustrated, and always just thought I want to do something with sports. Baseball didn't work out for me, so why not write about it? So.
And it's amazing how much the sports media industry has changed thanks to these guys, cell phones, which means you have more ways of telling your stories, more platforms, perhaps more work with blogs.
Yeah.
Tweeting.
Yeah, it never ends. Social media, I think, you've got Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat even,
sure.
Though I'm still figuring that one out some. It's kind of complicated.
Will Snapchat go away? Our intern Brady Moore's like, no, it's here. But that's probably a different way to connect with the athletes as well, how they're engaging in your content.
Yeah, if you get them involved, then they enjoy it. I noticed, if you get them involved on Twitter, you get a little more traffic sometimes. You get a little more interest in following it if they're really into it.
So you talk with Anna, it's posted on Twitter, her friends, family, school picks it up, spreads it around, becomes a little bit more viral, if you will.
Because I want people to read the stories because they're good stories, and they need to be read.
He's Jacob Unruh. You can follow his coverage of high school athletics and the Oklahoma City Dodgers in the Oklahoman, online at newsok.com. He's on Twitter as well. We are live tonight to newsok.com, to our Facebook page, and to the big screen hanging up outside our building in downtown Oklahoma City. We'll be live from 5 to 6 tonight. Various hits, various interviews with reporters, athletes, and some from the corporate side of things as well, leading up to the Oklahoman's All-City Prep Sports Awards. We'll be back shortly.